Hey Pixel friends, it's your girl Pixel Simmer here. Welcome back to the channel. I have something to talk about that I think is really important, and I just wanted to come on here and talk about it. If you see the title, you already know what this is about, so let's just go ahead and get into it. So my heart has been very heavy the past few days. With everything going on. I was so wrapped up in my own little world, trying to get my business together that I didn't even realize what was happening around me until I went on social media. Um, and I saw what happened with George Floyd and the cops. And I couldn't, I mean, I don't want to say that I couldn't believe it because obviously it happens a lot these days. And I wasn't surprised, but I was just speechless. Like I didn't know what to say. Honestly, I don't know what to say. But I'm here to talk about it because I really care about these topics, and I think that they should be talked about. And I challenge all of you guys to, if you guys want to make a video or even on social media, just talk about it a little bit and spread the word because I think that that's really where change happens is when a lot of people are talking about it. And I'm just fed up, to be quite honest. I'm completely exhausted, and I'm fed up of this happening with police brutality. When I was in, well, I'm still in college, but when I was in my freshman year of college, I did a whole presentation about police brutality for my communications class. So I know quite a bit about police brutality. Um, and yes, it happens to everyone, no matter what your race is, no matter what your gender is. But, however, just from the statistics, it's happening more with minorities. And, it's so sad, and it's ridiculous that in 2020 we still have to deal with this, but here we are. Um, so I just want to talk a little bit about what happened, my thoughts on it, and my thoughts on social media and the riots and the protesting and everything like that. Sorry, my mouse is in the way. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. So if you guys didn't know what happened, let me just break it down for you. So, in Minnesota, Minneapolis, on I think it was May 25th, um, a man by the name of George Floyd was just walking around, doing his thing. I believe what happened was that he was trying to use like a $20 bill at the gas station, and the gas station was saying that it was counterfeit money. So I guess the cops showed up, and they put him in handcuffs, but that wasn't enough for them. So like they eventually, one of the cops had his knee kneeling on George Floyd on his neck. He had him pinned down on the ground. He was kneeling on his neck, and eventually George passed away from the tension from him putting that pressure on his neck. And in the autopsy, they basically tried to say that it wasn't because of it, but like, so what was it then? I'm confused. Like it's just kind of ridiculous. Um, the links that they go to protect the cops. And I'm not anti-cop. I'm not. I I believe that that there are good cops out there, but um, I just see a lot of corruption in the police office, and I don't like it. Um, it happens time and time over and over again, and I'm just completely fed up with it. I'm over it. I'm ready for a change because I don't want to raise kids in a world where they have to be afraid to walk outside, where they have to be afraid for their lives just because of the color of their skin. And that's the world that we're growing up in right now. Um, and so that's what happened, and ever since then, there's been protests going on in Minneapolis. There's been protests going on where I live in Indianapolis. And there's been protests going all around the country and even spreading out around the world to London and the UK and Europe and things like that. So I think that that's really good. I think that the protests are going to eventually help. I think that they're helping. Um, the fact that the police are having to come out and set a curfew means that they're listening, because if they're not listening, then they wouldn't know to set a curfew, you know? So it means that they're listening at the very least. Now, I don't know how much of that is going to be going in one ear and out the other, but they're there. They're coming to these protests and they're having to see the faces of everyone's pain, everyone's hurt that that they're feeling, and they're having to see it up close and personal, and they're having to hear their words. So I just think that it's going to help, and I think that the protests are helping. I'm not anti-protest or anything like that, so I don't know who would be. I mean, a lot of people that have been anti-protest are basically saying that they're anti-protest because of the riots, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm a little bit 50-50 on it. Like, I see why the riots are happening, and I understand the pain and the hurt that they're feeling. Um, and I also feel like it's not the mostly black people that are starting the riots. I think that it's the cops, number one, that are starting the riots. And I think that also there's white supremacists, and and I also feel like there's people that are not black, people that are Caucasian, that are starting the riots. Because I've seen it on Twitter where their non-black people were, you know, kicking down windows, breaking glass and everything like that, and the black people there were just sitting there like begging them to stop, like literally begging them to stop, um, kicking in the glass, and they wouldn't listen because they know at the end of the day it's going to be blamed on the black people, even if they're not the ones who did it. um, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, I just wanted to get on here and talk about it. I wanted to use my platform to, you know, have my voice be heard. I wanted to be a part of the movement because I think that it's very important, and it's something that is close to home, you know. Me being a black minority, a woman as well, um, I understand. And if anyone needs to talk about it, I'm here to talk about it with you. Please reach out to me at June Jules in Second Life, or you can message me here in the comments. Also, I'll leave my social media down below so you can message me there. Um, I just, I see everything going on, and I'm just outraged about it. And it may not sound like it, like in my voice, because I'm just fed up. I'm so tired. I've been screaming. I've been, you know, crying and everything like that, and I'm just fed up at this point. I have, you know, I'm speechless at this point. I don't even know what to say. Like, on my social media, it took me a while to think about what I really wanted to say because I didn't want to say something ignorant. But that's not the time. Like, now is not the time to be, you know, worrying that you're going to offend somebody, I feel like, because this is a serious issue. Um, and I've seen a lot of celebrities say that they have been, you know, thinking about what they're going to say and wording their words carefully and everything like that. And I understand that because they are a social media influencer and they have a lot to lose, um, if they're going to be saying the wrong thing. But I feel like now is not the time to be worried about your public image. I feel like now is the time to stand up and fight for what you believe in. And even if you have to go to prison for that, if you have to go to jail for that, you know, and even if you have to get arrested for that, then so be it. I feel like nothing's going to change with us being afraid to raise our voices. Nothing's going to change. That's not how anything changed here in the United States when there was women's suffrage movement. You know, there was violent things going on and there were protests. I believe there were riots as well. Um, and with D-Day, with all the people going to, I forget where it was, but they went out and they marched and they protested, and a lot of them got arrested. And it's just so sad to see the same thing happening. What, like 60 years later, like 100 years later? Are you kidding me? Like, it's just ridiculous. And I saw a post on social media that's saying, like, their grandma was saying they're gassing them just like they gassed them back in my day. They're gassing them babies just like they gassed us, back in the day. And it's just so sad to see that nothing has really changed. I mean, yes, it's changed. Um, on the front end, people are afraid to come out as racist now, whereas back in the day they would be proud about it, and they'd be like, yeah, I'm racist, and what, so what, and now the white person's biggest fear is to be called a racist, whereas our biggest fear is to be shut down by the police. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but it's true for a lot of people. I know that it's not the case for everyone, and that some people, some non-black people, some non-minorities do fear for their lives as well, depending on where they grow up and things like that. So I'm not gonna sit here and say it's just black and white, like literally, but um, you know the greatest fear for a non-minority is to be called racist, I believe, because that's something that you just don't want to be called. And people that are clearly racist will go through extreme lengths and hoops and bounds just to say that they're not racist. And it's just like, sis, just admit it, like, just admit it. So, I don't know. That's just how I feel. And I might delete this video later, I don't know, but I don't want to have to delete the video. I realize that I may lose subscribers from this, and I'm okay with that, because it needs to be said. It needs to be heard. I need to reach people and get them to speak out and at least inform themselves. I understand that maybe speaking out is not for everyone, but I feel like you should at least inform yourself of the issues before you talk to friends about it, before you form your own opinions of everything. Just inform yourself. Because an informed person is going to be a lot better at handling a situation than an ignorant person is. Like an ignorant person that's ignorant to social issues is a very dangerous person, because they can have a voice, just like everybody else, and they can be spewing all these rumors, all these fake facts, and people might take them as face value. So it can be scary. So that's why I'm just saying, you really need to be informed no matter who you are. If you're going to be talking, if you're going to be speaking out, I feel like you should be informed. I feel like that's important. And as far as the riots go, I understand why people are doing it. It gets people to listen, because people aren't listening when we kneel. They don't want us to kneel. They don't want us to speak out about it. And then they don't listen to us. But when we start breaking property, when we start, um, you know, going after people's money, after people's profit, after big businesses' profit, then that's when they start to listen. Um, and so I understand when people do it, but me myself, that's not something that I would partake in. It's just not. I'm not a violent person, and I'm just not a part of that. But I do understand why people would feel the need to do that. Um, that's how I feel about that. And I have a lot of people on Facebook, people on Twitter that I know, that I don't know, that are sharing posts like Blue Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, sharing posts like, if you agree with the riots and everything crazy happening, then unfriend me, and things like that, and unfriend me if you believe this, unfriend me if you believe that. And I just feel like, why does it need to be that? Like, I'm not going to personally unfriend anybody, because you need to hear what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? If you want to unadd me, that's on you. But I'm not gonna unfriend me, because you need to hear this. You need to hear what I'm saying. You need to hear the pain behind these voices. Sorry if you can hear noise in the background. My neighbor is playing basketball. But yeah, so I just believe that, you need to really inform yourself, and you need to hear what we're saying, at least hear what we're saying, Um, and I don't understand the people that are saying blue lives matter, all lives matter. It's just really, I mean, I guess I can understand the blue lives matter because of, um, people that have, gone and attacked cops. And I don't agree with that whatsoever at all. I do not agree with that at all. Attacking cops, you shouldn't attack anybody. No, it doesn't matter who you are. You shouldn't be attacking anybody. So I understand why they would say that. But I don't understand the people that are saying all lives matter. It's just like, really? But what's your point? Like, what is your point? I just want to know, what do you get out of this? What do you get out of going on your social media, getting your little typing fingers out and typing all lives matter, hashtag all lives matter? I don't understand what you're getting out of it. Like, at some point you're just trolling, like, honestly, because you know that this is important. And in the deep of your heart, I think you know that this is important, and you know why we're saying Black Lives Matter. And it doesn't matter how many times we say it, that Black Lives Matter too, not only Black Lives Matter. That's what we're saying. You don't want to listen. You have nothing to say, though, when we tell you that we're not saying only Black Lives Matter. We're saying Black Lives Matter too. You have nothing to say because you know that, we're on fire right now. And it doesn't make sense to put water on people and spray a hose on people that are not burning right now. If we're the ones that are burning, if we're the ones that are catching fire, why would you go and, water down everybody, that even people that are not on fire? It just doesn't make sense. So I don't know. It's a protest to my protest. I don't like that because none of these people were saying all lives matter before Black Lives Matter happened. I would like to see the receipts because I don't believe that any of these people saying all lives matter were saying it before Black Lives Matter happened. You weren't. So you're saying it as a protest to my protest. What kind of messed up stuff is that? Like, can you just let our voices be heard? Um it would be different if you said all lives matter unprovoked. So like if none of this Black Lives Matter ever happened, I would understand. I would see the argument all lives matter and I would agree with it because unprovoked by the Black Lives Matter movement, it all lives matter by itself is not a bad statement. I agree that all lives matter. But the fact of it is that you're not saying all lives matter because you believe all lives matter. You're saying it as a protest to my protest. You're not saying it like all lives matter all on your own. You're saying it in response to us. And it's just like you see all this happening and you still feel the need to say all lives matter. And it's just like, we know that. But do you know that? Do you know that, honestly? And then as far as the celebrities go, there's been a lot of drama on Twitter. There's been a lot of pushback on Twitter because there's been certain celebrities that haven't come out and spoken about this yet, or they took forever and a day to come out and speak about it. And some of them are even coming out to speak against it, like speak against Black Lives Matter, which is crazy to me. Like, I don't know. So the people that didn't didn't talk about Black Lives Matter, the celebrities that didn't bring up the issue, I don't fault them. I don't blame them at all. I believe that, it's your prerogative whether or not you want to talk about a subject. And because this is a very touchy subject, and it's very painful to think about, I can understand why you want to escape and just not even deal with it and not even talk about it at all. But it's not the time to be escaping and trying not to deal with it, really. But I could understand where they're coming from when they're not talking about it. But what I do have a problem with is the celebrities and the people that have everything to say about the rioting, have everything to say about the looting. They're speaking out against it. But where were you talking about it when George Floyd was murdered? Where were you talking about it? You weren't. You weren't talking about it, but now you're talking about the rioting and the looting. That's what I have a problem with. If you're one of those people that don't want to talk about those kinds of issues at all, then I understand you. Then I get you. I understand you. But if you're going to talk about something and not talk about the other, that's when I have a problem. So yeah, I have a problem with that. And by the way, guys, do not shop at Dolls Kill because they have been problematic for the longest time, and I've continued to give them passes. I've continued to give them passes because they're one of the only websites that really have the kind of fashion that I like. But I can't support them anymore. I can't buy from them because they literally went on Instagram, the owner of Dolls Kill, and basically said they're happy that the cops are shooting rubber bullets at people. So I'm not even gonna say allegedly because it's on their Instagram. Like they literally said it. But they didn't say it in those words. But they did say it. So don't support Dolls Kill anymore. And I'll keep a lookout for other brands that are doing this. I know Jackie Aina was on Twitter talking about Revolve and a Pretty Little Thing because Revolve kind of basically Revolve did like okay, so we have to say something, so here you go, here's your little crumb that you wanted, like here you go, kind of thing. And so Jackie Aina was talking about that on Twitter. So I don't know if I'm gonna boycott Revolve just because once again I feel like if you're even talking about it in the slightest bit, I feel like that's gonna help, especially if you're a big company. So I feel like, if you have a bad track record, then no, I'm gonna see it as you don't actually believe in Black Lives Matter. You're just saying it because you need to keep your brand looking good. But like, if you have a good track record and you just happen to have not really gone into depth in your message about Black Lives Matter, then I feel like that's okay because not everyone has the words to say. Not everyone has the very intellectual or um, emotional words to say. Some people are not good at articulating how they feel. They know how they feel the pain, but they don't know how to express it. And so I give people passes because me myself, when I get so angry, when I get so flustered, I can't speak. Like I honestly can't speak. I'm sorry. I don't want to get emotional about in this video. Like I'm trying not to get emotional, but like I just when I get so flustered, I just can't even like talk about it. And so I understand why people like do what they can, but they don't necessarily have the words to articulate how they feel. So that's why I don't really want to fault them for that. And that's just how I feel about that. But yeah. Um, and there's a lot of other things that's been going on. There was the Central Park lady who called the cops on a black man because he wanted her to put a leash on her dog. Let's see what else there was. There's just been a lot of things happening lately. Yeah, Ahmaud Arbery was killed, was murdered. Um, there's been a lot of things happening, and I'm just sick of it. I can't believe that I had no idea what was going on. Like, I literally had no idea. I was just going about my day, going about my own business, and then I went on social media to promote my new business, and I saw all these people talking about George Floyd and everything that happened, and I was shocked because I just like I'm like not again. Like, really? Are you serious? Like, again? We're doing this again. So it just shocked me, and I had no idea at first. And it's just crazy how these things can happen. And a lot of things do happen that we have no idea about. Like the people that don't have the fortunate, or not that it's fortunate, but the people that don't have the access to cameras, the people that don't have, we're not able to film incidents and they just go by. Um, the people that get killed by cops and brutalized by cops every day, and people were not there to film it. There's a lot of that going on as well, and we just don't know about it because nobody was there to film it. And it's just crazy to think about all the things that go on without us even knowing. And then there's just the stuff we do know about, and it's just too much. It's honestly too much. I don't know what it's going to take to get it to stop, but I think that we need to be willing to do what it takes. Um, that's all I really wanted to say. I will be back with another video soon. I'm not sorry actually. I'm not sorry that this had to be said because it had to be said, you know. This is what's going on. I'm not going to apologize for speaking out against the wrong things that have been happening in the world. Um, but I do understand that it's hard for some people to hear. If you have PTSD, if you have certain conditions, it's hard for people to hear about. And so I just want to say, like, don't feel bad if you can't handle it. If you don't want to watch these types of videos, I understand, because if you can't handle it because of something that happened previously, or it's just hits too hard to home, I understand. But yeah, I'll be back with another video soon. We'll be back to regular programming, but I just wanted to come in here and say that I do support Black Lives Matter, and I think that it's very important to get the message out there. So yeah, I hope you guys share on social media how you feel about this, situation, and I hope you guys do what you can, do your part to do what you can. And yeah, I love you guys, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, Pixel friends.